everyone, welcome back to your English class. Students, today we are going to cover one of your grammar topic and the name of the topic is active and passive voice. So let us know what is active and passive voice. Before knowing, I want you all to read these sentences. Manav teaches Ansh. Ansh is taught by Manav. See students, in sentence 1, Manav teaches Ansh. The verb teaches is telling us what Manav is doing. That means what our subject is doing. Manav is our subject. So in sentence 1, the verb teaches is telling us what our subject is doing. Okay. And in next sentence, Ansh is taught by Manav. In this sentence, our verb is telling us what is being done to our subject. What is being done to our subject? What is being done to Ansh? Ansh is being taught. Okay. So in our first sentence, the verb is telling us what our subject is doing, and in second sentence, our verb is telling us what is being done to our subject. So students, a verb which tells us that what our subject is doing is the active voice, and the verb which tells us that what is being done to our subject. हमारे subject के साथ क्या हो रहा है? That is passive voice. That is passive voice. Students, you have to keep this in mind that in both the sentences, meaning of the sentence will not change. Look here, Manav teaches Ansh. Ansh is taught by Manav. Meaning of both the sentence is same. Meaning of both the sentences is same. Manav teaches Ansh. Ansh is taught by Manav. Only the change is that the subject has taken place the place of object, and object has taken the place of subject. Object ने subject की place ले ली है and subject ने object की place ले ली है. So this happens when we change the passive voice from active voice. The subject takes the place of object and objects take the place of subject. That means the object is put first. The object is put first and our subject becomes the last. And one more thing students, when we change passive voice from the active voice, we always use third form of verb. When we change the sentence from active voice to passive voice, always third form of verb is used. Now students, we will learn how we are going to change the sentences from active voice to passive voice. We have to recall all the formation of tenses for this. Let us discuss them in detail. Now students, let us move towards the present tense. In present tense, in simple present, we have learned the formation of the tenses like subject plus first form of verb plus SOS plus object. For example, Ram plays football. Now, how are we going to change it into passive voice? How are we going to change the sentence of present tense in the present indefinite or simple present tense in the passive voice? So, we are having a rule. We are having a rule that is object plus ismr plus third form of verb plus subject. Object plus ismr plus third form of verb plus subject. Now, first of all, we have to recognize what is our subject, verb and object. So, Ram is our subject, play is our verb and football is our object. So, first of all, what we are going to put? Football. After football, is M or R? With football, what we are going to put? Is M or R? Obviously, we are going to put is. Football is. And what will be the third form of play? Play, played, played. So, football is played by Ram. Football is played by Ram. So, when we change the passive voice when we change the voice of this simple present tense, we follow the rule object plus ismr plus third form of verb plus subject. Object plus ismr plus third form of verb plus subject. Let us take another example. They fly kite. They fly kite. This is our simple present tense. So you have to first of all to change the voice of any sentence, you need to recognize what kind of tense is it. Okay, you first the first thing to be done is you have to recognize that this is a simple present tense. Otherwise, if you will not be able to recognize, you will not be able to change the sentence. Okay? So they fly kite. It is a present indefinite tense or it is a simple present tense. So for simple present tense, what formation we are having to change it in passive voice? It is object plus ismr plus v3 plus subject. Now our object is kite. Kite, with kite what we are going to put? Ism or r? We are going to put is. Kite is, and third form of fly is flown. Kite is flown by, they becomes them. They becomes them. When we put our subject as our object, they become them. And we always use by before the subject in passive voice. In passive voice, we always use by before the subject. Kite is flown by them. Football is played by Ram. Okay, so this is all about our simple present tense. Now students, we will move to present continuous tense. Now students, we will move on to present continuous tense. Let us read this sentence. Ram is playing football. This is a present continuous sentence. Is it? Right? This is a present continuous sentence. Ram is playing football. So as I told you, you have to identify which kind of tense is it before changing into passive voice, because each type of tense carries another set of rules to change it into passive voice. So we are having here the sentence of present continuous tense. So present continuous tenses will be changed into this formation. Object plus ismr plus being plus third form of verb plus subject. Once again, object plus ismr plus being plus third form of verb plus subject. Now, as you all know, football is our object, and with football what we are going to use is. From ismr, what we are going to use? We are going to use is. Football is, then after ismr we use being. After ismr we use being. Football is being, then third form of verb. What is the third form of play? Played. Football is being played by, what is our subject? Ram. So before Ram, it is compulsory that we have to use by. It is necessary we have to use by. So football is being played by Ram. Once again, football is being played by Ram. Now let us take another example. Ram and Sham are flying kite. Ram and Sham are flying kite. This is also a present continuous tense. Yes, right? Is it also a present continuous tense? Because we are using ismr and v1 plus ing. So you have to recognize the tense first. Then it is a present continuous tense. And for present continuous tense, what rule we are having? For present continuous tense, we are having object plus ismr plus being plus v3 plus subject. Object plus ismr plus being plus v3 plus subject. So what is our object? Kite. With kite, what we are going to use? Is m or r? It is, we are going to use is. Kite is, then what is after ismr? Being. Kite is being, then what is the third form of verb? Flown. What is the third form of fly? Flown. Kite is being flown by Ram and Sham. Ram and Sham is our subject. Ram and Sham is our subject. So kite is being flown by Ram and Sham. The thing you have to keep in mind, students, that before subject it is necessary that we have to use by. We have to use by. And once again I am telling you again and again that before changing the sentence into passive voice, you need to recognize what kind of tense does it carry. If it is carrying present continuous tense, or is it carrying simple present tense or past continuous or future continuous. Okay. So each, as I have already told you, each and every tense is having another set of rules to change the sentence in passive voice. As we have learnt in simple present is having some another rule, present continuous is having some another rule. As in continue, present perfect is also having some another rule. Let us move towards present perfect now. Now students, we will move to present perfect tense. Present perfect tense. Let us know in example of present perfect tense. Ram has played football. Ram has played football. So this sentence is of present perfect tense. Yes. So how we are going to change present perfect tense into passive voice? How are we going to change the present perfect tense into passive voice? So we are having a rule, that is object plus has have plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. Object plus has have plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. As it is changing into passive voice, and I have told you earlier that passive voice always carries third form of verb. It will always carry, no matter whether it is present continuous or past continuous or future perfect or whatsoever. It will always carry third form of verb. Okay. So we are having the rule to change the present perfect into passive voice, that is object plus has have plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. Now Ram has played football. Ram has played football. So what is our object? Football is our object, and what we are going to use with football, has or have? So has we are using with singular and have we are using with plural. So our football is singular, so we are going to use has. Football has, after has have, object plus has have plus been. Football has been, then what is the third form of play? Played. And after that by, then our subject. Then our subject is Ram. Football has been played by Ram. Football has been played by Ram. Let us take another example. Rima has cooked food. This sentence is also a present perfect tense. This is also present perfect tense. So for present perfect tense, we are having rule object plus has have plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. So we are going to change it into passive voice. Then food has been cooked by Rima. Food, with food what we are going to use, has or have? With food we are using has. Food has been, what is being used after has have? Been. Food has been, then the third form of verb is cooked. After third form of verb, what we are going to put? By. Before subject, by. By, and subject is Rima. Food has been cooked by Rima. So students, this was all about your present tense. In present tense, we have learned present indefinite or simple present, present continuous and present perfect, and the rules to change them into passive voice. Now we shall move to, okay, now students, let us move to our past tense. So in past tense, first of all, we are having the simple past. Now how are we going to change the simple past into passive voice? So let us have an example. Ram played football. Ram played football. It is a simple past tense. And how do we know? Because we have used second form of verb. So it is a simple past. It is the recognition of the sentence this is a simple past tense. Now how we are going to change simple past into passive voice? So we are having a rule. Yet another rule, that is object plus was verb plus third form of verb plus subject. Object plus was verb plus third form of verb plus subject. Now Ram played football. Football, as you know, it is our object. So we are going to put object first. Then with object we are going to put was or were. If our object is singular, we are using was, and if our object is plural, we are going to use were. So football is singular or plural? Yes, it is singular. So singular के साथ हम what we are going to put? We are using was. Football was, then was were, after was were we are using third form of verb. What is the third form of verb? Played. Football was played by Ram. After third form of verb we use by, and after that we use subject. Football was played by Ram. Football was played by Ram. Ram played football. Football was played by Ram. The meaning of the sentences does not change here. Rima cooked food. This is also a simple past tense, and to change the simple past tense we have to write the formula first. What the rule first, the formation first of passive voice, that is object plus was verb plus third form of verb plus subject. Object plus was verb plus third form of verb then subject. And Rima cooked food. Food is our object. So food we are going to put first, food. With food what we are going to put, was or were? Obviously we are going to put was. It can't be like food were. It is food was. And what is the third form of verb? Cook, cooked, cooked. Cooked, then after that by, then after that subject. And food was cooked by Ram. So this is the simple past which carries the rule to change it into the passive voice is object plus was verb plus V3 plus subject. Once again, object plus was verb plus V3 plus subject. Now students, we move on to past continuous. This is our past continuous tense, and let us know how we are going to change past continuous tense into passive voice. Let us take an example. Ram was playing football. This is past continuous tense. Yes, right? It is a past continuous tense. Then how are we going to change it into passive voice? So we are having yet another rule to change it in passive voice, that is object plus was verb plus being plus third form of verb plus subject. Object plus was verb plus being plus third form of verb plus subject. So football is our object. So football, with football we are going to use, as we know, was, because football is singular. Football was, then we are going to use being. Football was being, then third form of verb played, then by, then our subject, that is Ram. Then Ram was playing football. Football was being played by Ram. Both the sentence mean same only, but actually there is a difference in speaking of both sentences. That is, here subject is coming first on the number one, and here object is coming on number one. Okay, football was being played by Ram. तो हमारे जो सब्जेक्ट ने वो ऑब्जेक्ट की प्लेस ले ली और ऑब्जेक्ट ने सब्जेक्ट की प्लेस ले ली, एंड देयर इज लिटिल बिट we can say changes in form of verb. Okay, now let us move to another example. Rima was cooking food. Rima was cooking food. This is a past continuous tense. Then past continuous, we are having object plus was verb plus being plus third form of verb plus subject. This is our rule to change it in passive voice. Then object is food, and with food we are going to use was. Food was being cooked. What is the third form of verb? Cook. Cook, cooked, cooked. Food was being cooked by Rima, sorry. Rima was cooking the food. Food was being cooked by Rima. As you see, there is no difference in the meaning of both sentences. Okay, so this was your past continuous. Let us move to past perfect. Now students, this is our past perfect tense. Now we are going to know how we are going to change the past perfect tense into passive voice. Let us take an example. Ram had played football. So this is our past perfect tense. Yes, right? You can recognize it, you can identify it. It is past perfect tense. So for past perfect tense to be changed into passive voice, we are having a rule. That is object plus had plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. Once again, object plus had plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. And football, as you know, is our object, and with object we are going to use had. Straight away had. No has, have, only had. Whether it is singular or it is plural. Whether our subject is singular or plural, we have to use had only. Football had, then been, then third form of verb played, then by, then our subject. Football had been played by Ram. Ram had played football. Football had been played by Ram. There is no difference in meaning of the sentences. Let us take another example. Rima had cooked food. It is a past perfect tense, right? Object plus had been plus V3 plus subject. This is the rule how we are going to change the past perfect tense into passive voice. Object plus had plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. Food. Food is our object, and as you know, had will be used with our object no matter whether it is singular or plural. Food had been cooked by Rima. Rima had cooked food. Food had been cooked by Rima. So this was our past perfect tense. Now students, we shall move to our future tense, and first of all we are going to do our simple future tense. Now let us move to future tense. First of all we shall cover simple future tense, and we shall know how we are going to change simple future tense into passive voice with the help of an example. Ram will play football. Ram will play football is a simple future tense. Easily recognizable. Ram will play football is a simple future tense, right? So for simple future tense we are having a rule, that is object plus will shall plus be plus third form of verb plus subject. Object plus will shall plus be plus third form of verb plus subject. So object will be our football. With football what we are going to use, will or shall? And I hope everybody is aware about the usage of will and shall. So with football we use will. Football will, then be. After will we will put be. Then third form of verb, play, played, played. Then by, then our subject. Football will be played by Ram. Ram will play football. Football will be played by Ram. Let us take another example. Rima will cook food. Rima will cook food. Same, it is a simple future tense, and for simple future tense we are having the rule object plus will shall plus be plus third form of verb plus subject. Food will be cooked by Rima. Rima will cook the food. Food will be cooked by Rima. With food we are going to use will. Okay, I hope everybody is clear. With food everybody we are going to use will. Food will be cooked by Rima. Now let us move to our and students, after that future continuous. Future continuous tense does not change into passive voice. Future continuous tense does not change into passive voice. The sentences of future continuous tense remains as it is. They do not change into passive voice. Always remember, future continuous tense does not change into passive voice. We straight away will move with our last tense, that is future perfect tense. Students, we will move to our last part of the tenses, that is our future perfect tense. Future perfect tense, now we will know how we are going to change future perfect tense in a passive voice. Let us take an example. Ram will have played football. So this is the example of a future perfect tense, and it will be changed into the rule like object plus will shall plus have plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. Object plus will shall plus have plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. Football, with football what we are going to use, will or shall? Will. After will shall then we are going to use have, then been, then third form of verb played, then subject. Football will have been played by Ram. Football will have been played by Ram. Rima will have cooked food. This is in another example we are taking. Rima will have cooked food. Same rule we are going to put here. Object plus will shall plus have plus been plus third form of verb plus subject. Food is our object. With food what we are going to use? Will or shall? Will. Food will have been. Food will have been. Third form of verb cooked by Rima. Rima will have cooked food. Food will have been cooked by Rima. So student, this was your last tense. This was all about your tenses and how we are going to change them into passive voice. Now I shall tell you students, there are certain pronouns. When we change them into passive voice, they also change their form. Let us know how. Now students, these are the certain pronouns which changes their form when we change them into passive voice. I becomes me when it is used as a object. I becomes me when it is used as an object in passive voice. We becomes us in passive voice when we are using we in passive voice as an object, it becomes us. He becomes him as object in passive voice. She becomes her as object in passive voice, and they become them. I become me, we become us, he become him, she become her, and they become them as object in passive voice.